Hello, Paul. How you doing? Okay, there's 4 people watching. You're the only one in 6 people watching. You're the only one in the chat. Anyway, you got the PDFs from before. I'm not going to work on them. That's tomorrow. And I'm going to add a few more things for tomorrow. Do you happen to have this book? Mike Clark, Funk Drumming. Do you happen to have that book? If you don't worry about it. I'm going to be writing a few things out. And maybe we'll do Mr. Jimmy, this is the original edition of Jimmy Chapin, and this is the new edition. The heat's got me, man, Paul. Honestly. But advanced concepts, innovative grooves. We're going to be working with this one tomorrow. If you don't have it, I will send you a few PDFs on it. Next week, we are just working on the drum pad, the master studies, and I wrote out 12 lines before, send them to everybody with the stick control grid. Now you can see how everything is kind of related, and everything I gave you, you have that, good. You have what book, is that? Yeah, okay, do you have Mike Clark's Funk Drumming? Because we're going to work at it at. And maybe an introduction to a little who is this? B16 Jards. How you doing, Bob? Did I emailed you Jard? Now, like I said to Paul, we're going to work from this guy tomorrow. If you don't have it, that's okay. I will write a few things out. And maybe if we have time, the Jim Chapin book. This one is 20 years old, Paul. The ones I got 20 years before this are all beat up. Okay? And what I sent, I don't know if I sent this to you, Jard. Well, we're all actually beginners, but we're just every day you're a beginner because, you know, it's just a new day. You can't wait to learn something new. So if you learn something new, you're a beginner. So don't, you know, we're all on the same journey. There is nobody better than anyone else. We all are on a quest to become better and learn as much as possible. It's simple. You know, we're in different places, yes. I've been playing 100 years. He did. I have to send him the PDFs. I didn't send it to him. We're not going to work out of the PDFs tonight. I did send you a set of PDFs. What do we got here? Yeah, we're all here to learn. And actually, you know, I always go by this motto, a good teacher never ceases to learn. And that's all I do is learn, and I learn from my students, believe it or not. Hi, Stacy. You got the PDFs on the the grid? You're welcome, Mr. Jard. Where are you from, Jard? Well, there's a lot of things to learn. I don't know what your drumming abilities are, or how long you've been playing, or what kind of music you play, or what studying you have done, or what books you work from. we're not going to work from that one. You have that. We're going to work from that next week sometime. Next week, actually, it's just going to be on the drum pad. This is the book I'm talking about. I know Stacy has this. Funk Drumming. And if you don't have it, that's okay. Because you know me, I'd be writing all kinds of things out. The post-pop drum book we will be working on. We also will be working from Jim Chapin. And then you're going to find that Jim Chapin at one time, when you first started, wow, that's a hard book. But if you guys have been with me, we go through the Jim Chapin, or not the Jim Chapin, but the Gary Shafee time functions and the stick control formulas. It all happens. You'll see how easy that book is. You're from Alabama. Okay, that's good. Very good. All right, you have the fresh approach to snare and standard of excellence. All right, well, we're going to work with the funk drumming, all right? The standard of excellence, isn't that a school band book? And how do you hold your sticks, Jar? Do you hold them traditional like this, or you hold them like Max, German? Yeah, me too. Just that the heat has gotten to me, man. I have the air conditioners blasting, and it's still hot. Any questions about this afternoon? Jar, what you're going to need to do, do you have, Jar, do you have Skype? If you have Skype, I want to talk to you. My Skype name is Skype is free. You American Matched. Okay, that's Match Grip. You can read music. You know how to, all the formations of quarter notes, eighth notes, 16ths, 30-seconds, and eighth note triplets. You know all of that, all right? So you play the trombone. You can read melodically and hopefully rhythmic. All right, well, all you have to do is, here's the link. It's free. Download it. You have a camera on your computer, correct? If you have a camera on your computer, just download that, and then it'll say make new friends or search or invite somebody. Put my name in there, invite me, and I'll accept your invitation and we can talk. Okay? So now, let's go backwards, not backwards, but I don't mean it in a, that's not it. What did I do? Oh man, fat thumbs. It's Matt Patella .1. That's my Skype name. All right, you're gonna have to get the stick control book, but before you buy anything, I want to talk to you. I'll show you what to do. I get you some nice discounts. All right, the first thing we want to do, and this is something a little new. All right, and it does the stick control. It's line 6. If you remember line 6, I'm going to think of that in 16th notes. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. And we're going to take that form and we're going to play it between the hi-hat and the snare. However, every time I played my right hand, we're going to start to develop a little funk out of that. I'm going to write that out and send it to you. Let's not worry about that tonight. Okay, fine. I really appreciate that, Jard. Not a problem. All you have to do is email me, send me your address, and make a payment through PayPal. The stick control book, okay, mailed to you, hardcover, is $45. PDFs are $25. Okay? Now, I do have the syncopation formula book as well. That's $35 for the hard copy. Now, if you want to buy the PDFs, that's $20. So actually, for $20 and $25, you get the 2 PDFs. You print them out, bind them, and you have it. It's a lot cheaper. Okay. You know, Jimmy sent me $20 today. I don't know why. Do I look poor or depressed? I'm just tired from the heat. Okay, so your choice tonight. You want to work something out of the Jimmy Chapin book? Or you want to continue with this pattern? Your choice, gentlemen. Your choice. Rudiments. All right, let's do the pattern. Let's loosen up first. The pattern is here. All right, and I'm going to play my bass drum on every note. 16s, 1 E and a 2. Remember that, how we warmed up with that? That's a simple eighth notes. Chapin, huh? Okay, you notice, I know Stacy has the Chapin book, and I guess I'm gonna have to write this stuff out for the rest of you guys who don't have it. But if you go to page 4, and this always really confused me. And I'm saying he's got dotted, and this is what gave me the wrong impression of playing a jazz pattern. Dotted eighth notes. Now you have to remember, if you're up tempo, there's the eighth note, the dotted eighth note, and the last note of the triplet is so close you don't know, you can't tell the difference. So usually, if you play something like this, it's for a ballad. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E, 2, 3 E and the 4 E. Now, what he wants you to do here, and it's like I said, it's the graphics, is play the bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? The left-hand part is just a straight-ahead shuffle. It's 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E, and then the left hand. 1 E and the 2 E and... So you play it faster. Yeah. You can't tell whether you're playing a dotted eighth note or a triplet. It's so close. I stay with the triplet. So I relate to this one as ballads. Ding, did it, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and the 2. You understand the difference there, Paul? See what I'm talking about? I particularly don't like that, nor do I like the eighth notes. But it's the graphics. He's showing you the dotted eighth note and the straight ahead eighth notes. I don't particularly care for that, but it's a way. Okay? So now, if you have the first one simple, the first couple pages, 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 1. I'm feathering that bass drum in. Line 1 again. Line 2. Line 3. Well, like I said, Paul, it's for ballads. I don't have my brushes. Let's pretend this is the brush. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. Now that really confused me in the beginning because I was playing 1. It's, what he's showing you is how the dotted eighth note is associated to the jazz time. I particularly don't care for it. That's one of my pet peeves here. That's why I dislike the book. In the beginning, I didn't dislike it, but it confused the hell out of me. And it's all the same shit. We go turn the page, line 6, 1, 2, 3, line 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Yeah, well, he's swinging it, but it's so close. He's tightening it. That's the grab hold. You're absolutely correct, Paul. But he's trying to hold on to make sure you're holding on to the 1, 2, 3, 4 really tight. That's why it don't swing. And the 16th note there is so related to 1 and the 2 and 3. Watch it. 4. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4. There is a difference, and the dotted eighth note don't swing. They really don't. So we just defer. You could play all. Could you play all of them, Paul? We're not talking about the melodic exercises. Just what is that? 1. You'll hear it when I play the eighth notes. 1 through 11. Then he has exercises 1, 3. Can you play all of them? Can you play all of them, Paul? Stacy, you have the book out? I'm not going to go into the solos and the melodic exercises, but I am going to go into the eighth note. The eighth note is presented to you straight up and down. Oh, come on, hands. That's page 11. Well, see, they're not that difficult, Paul. And it all happens with Gary Chaffee, time functions, and plus the formulas and how you relate, playing the jazz pattern between the bass drum and the snare drum, equalizing this. It's just so simple. You went through a rigorous time, man, a painful time, believe me. But this book, it's old hat. And like I said, the reason why it was really sellable was because of the graphics. It don't swing. All right, we're going to do the eighth notes. 1 E and the 2 E and 4. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3, 4. The 1. Now you can hear it better. And that don't really swing. I'd rather not really work from this, but if you have the book, guys, I just dislike it a whole lot. If you have the book, look at it and tell me where you want to go with it. Or you have a question about a figure, we can work on it, okay? How's that sound? How's that sound, Stacy? Okay? Now, I know that Jard and Robert and Hoist don't have the book. I will write some things out, okay? And I will send them to you. But as of tomorrow, sometime, whether it's the first lesson or the evening lesson, we're going to work out a Mike Clark's funk drumming. There are a few different things you need, prerequisites to understand. And actually, so far, you guys have been with me, these books are going to become a piece of cake because everything stems from the stick control book. I played funk from the stick control book. I played fatback patterns, not fatback patterns, but he relates to them as fatback. It's the backbeat on 2 and 4 against the ostinato patterns. So you already know how to do that. Okay, so Mike Clark tomorrow. And what I like to do, we could dedicate this lesson to Jard. Everybody in agreement with that? Now, Jar doesn't understand my concept, not my concepts, my approaches. And by we revisiting them, it helps you as well. You know, so we can go with Jar. Is that okay? Yeah, it does. Absolutely. So he from being stiff to the triplet. That's pretty cool. That's like a very commercialized way. You have the book. All right, we will. Okay. You have the funk drumming. Hoist, you have this book. That's Funk Drumming by Mike Clark. If you have that, that's the one we're going to work with. If you don't have it, I'm still going to send PDFs. Okay. It's not like you're a newbie because you do have, I'm assuming, a drum set, and you do play somewhat, maybe cover tunes. And the first thing that you need to do is understand the principle of the stroke. Now, first things first. Everybody thinks you play the drums with sticks. Well, you don't. You play the drums with your hands. The drumstick is an extension of your hand. So I'm actually playing like this. I'm playing a drum like this. However, with the extension on it, there's a rebound. But first, you have to get a sound on a snare. You want a volume, you want to put yourself in position for accents, you want to develop a constant sound on the right side and the left side, equalize it. You know, if I said to you play a measure of eighth notes like this, I try to make that right side and the left side sound equal. A lot of guys go like this. That's very unmusical. So let's start with, you want to take notes of this. Sticking heights. Now I rough it, and I say the distance to the tip of my stick to the drum is about 18 inches. So I just throw the stick down. She comes right back. It's the laws of physics. For every action, there's an opposite action. Now that is also called a full stroke or a free stroke. The next stroke is a half stroke. Okay? I take half of that 18 inches, about 9, and hit it from here. Now I have two different sounds. Full stroke, half stroke. The closer to the drum, the lighter the sound. And then the quarter stroke, which is about 4 to 5 inches away from the drum. So I'm in quarter stroke, now half stroke, now full stroke. So I obtain, and there's a whole spectrum in there of different sounds, but that's the basic concept. That's the approach. The full stroke, the half stroke, and the tap. What you have there is 18 inches, 9 inches, and about 4 inches. Now, when I'm playing accents, that's where control strokes, and what I mean by control strokes is that I'm controlling what I do. If I threw the stick down and didn't stop the stick, it would fly way out over there. But I control that and I stop it. I stop in my starting position, which is now called the full stroke or the free stroke. I stopped it. All I did was throw the stick down and I followed it back and stopped it from that the height that I started at. Okay? No tension whatsoever, just nice and relaxed. All right, that's called a full stroke or a free stroke, and it's a control stroke. All right, now the next stroke is a downstroke. Notice that I have a sound on the free stroke. That free stroke, the distance, or the full stroke, the distance is pretty far. Now, the next stroke I want is a downstroke. Now, the only difference between the full stroke or free stroke and downstroke is that the downstroke, I'm going to stop it from coming back. Okay? Free stroke, downstroke. Now when I bring it down, I stop it. I don't grab it tight. I go. Okay, if I tighten it, it's going to choke the sound, and the vibration of the stick is going to go up your arm, and eventually will create carpal tunnel or tendonitis. So now we have the free stroke and a downstroke. The next stroke would be, I'm on the downstroke position, would be a tap. It's a lighter sound. The next stroke after the tap would be an upstroke to get in position for whatever stroke, if I want to do an accent or not. Okay, so I have free stroke, downstroke, tap, upstroke. Well, I'm going to write some things out for you, Hoist. Do you understand that so far there, Jard? That's the principles of stroking. For example, if I did 16th notes, alternating the strokes. And what I wanted to do is put an accent on the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this seems to be mechanical to a lot of people, so I don't really care. I'm showing you what's occurring when you play something like this. Okay, what happens here, you're in this position. 1, look at both my sticks. E, and I come up, da. I'm in position to attack it all over again. Well, you see, that's the stroking principles. All right. Let's say anything that you have ever seen, say on YouTube or instructional wise or whatever. All right. 2 things here. Some of the drum instructors that are out there want to profile and show you how good they are. Well, that's not teaching, all right? And actually, a lot of guys never understood the concept of the control stroke. See, what I do, if I'm playing this, here's a good example. If I'm playing this, and I'm taking a video of that, and I play it back. On the playback, I have a gadget where I could do it extremely slow. And if I do it extremely slow, this is what's happening. I wouldn't mean to do it. Sorry, I was doing a paradiddle. That's what's happening. So I look mechanical, and I look regimented, and I look stiff. Sorry, but that's what's occurring when I'm playing. So if you practice what's occurring and what is natural, the only thing is to go forward and become better. Oh, geez. Thank you. All right, well, that's what I'm going to stop with that, okay? And I'm going to explain to you, hopefully you have a metronome. I'm going to explain to you 4-measure vamps, and what I refer to as vamps. 8th notes, 16ths, and 8th note triplets, or alternating strokes, or double strokes. All right, let's start with the simple one, 8th notes. What I'm going to do, and it's very, very important that you come back down from the same level. So I'm going to play my bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you can, play your hi-hat 2 and 4, heel and toe, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like that. Now what I'm going to do is a 4-measure count, 4 times with my right hand, 4 times with my left hand, back and forth. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, left hand, 2, 3, right hand, left hand. Now what you're doing there is playing half of a single stroke roll on the right side or half a single stroke roll on the left hand side. All right, well, we'll get to the metronome in a second, okay? Now, that's an eighth note vamp. I would put a timer on for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and the slower actually you do it, if you're doing it, say, at 60, you want to do it up here. 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. But notice that the stick comes back before I can make the next stroke. And that's doing it in full strokes. And the slower you do it, you have to make sure that that right stick and the left stick sound the same. You're not going to get, that sounds terrible. And now once you get that going on, put the metronome, say 100. Excuse me, at 100. 2, 3, 4, left hand. 2, 3, 4. Okay, then we'll get into the paradiddle. Now, the next vamping would be eighth note triplets. Now, I don't know how you count eighth note triplets. I'm sure that you count them correctly or you count them the way you were taught. I count eighth note triplets two different ways. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for subdivisional reasons. Now some people count 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, and you're not wrong. If that works for you, fine. For me, I dislike that. I don't like to do it that way. But if it works for you, do it. Okay? So, what I do is the same thing with the right hand from the same point. I'm going to be, say, a half stroke, and I'm going to do 4 measures with the right vamp and 4 measures with the left. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Bop. And you play a little faster, you want the stick to be a little closer to the point of attack or to the drum. And the sound's going to be lighter. 2, 3, 4, left hand. I was having a little trouble there with that left. I get numb sometimes. But that's the basic thing. And that's where we're going to stop. That's too much for you to absorb. Your paradiddles are at 120. Okay, you want to get them cleaner and you want to get them faster. Well, throw away the 120 and throw away the 140. Okay? Go back to the metronome, say at 40. And reinforce what occurs when you play a paradiddle. When I play a paradiddle, it's downstroke, upstroke, tap, tap. Downstroke, upstroke, tap, tap. Now, if I'm playing paradiddle, there, I'm showing you what's occurring. So if you reinforce what's occurring, and listen to the sound, accent, up, the upstroke and the tap sound the same. See? Same thing with the double paradiddle. Remember the paradiddle tree? That's another day. But the slower you practice something, the faster you will become. Now, because you say it's sloppy at 140, well, if I do them at 300, I'm sloppy too. I'm forcing it. And I never want to force anything. What you're doing is you're reinforcing what's natural. You're working with the laws of physics. You're doing what's occurring. So you're reinforcing it's slow. That's the magic word, slow. The more you practice it slow, the faster you will become. And the more control you obtain. Remember, without control, speed will not exist. Simple. Well, then if you think the upstroke is weak, that's what you need to practice. You know, the upstroke is a good scenario, again, of what I demonstrated this afternoon about boxing. You know, you're a boxer, you throw a jab and you come back. Well, you know, you're going to get tagged about 5 times before you come back if you're that slow. So what you're doing is you jab and you come back. That's your starting point. Maybe that's not a good scenario. Here's a good exercise for you for the downstroke and the upstroke. When you're playing eighth notes, I have one sound, and I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to now put an accent on the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to do this slow. So I'm going to start here. That's the full stroke. 1, it's a downstroke because my next stroke is going to be an upstroke to get in position for the accent. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and it's a constant, continuous sound. You guys that are watching, I know you know it all. No, not know it all, but you know what I'm doing. Do you have anything to put in your 2 cents into this, or anything that you, any information or you can give Jard to help him out as you were when you were starting out? Anything would be fine. Anything. Robert, you still there? Hoist, you still there? I know Stacy and Paul are. Man, all these people that are watching, but nobody's in the chat. Inga-da-bunga. Anyone else have any input to help Jard? All right, we got Robert, Hoist, Stacy, Paul, and I don't know, and Jard, and I don't know who else is in here. There's like 14, that is 14 people. Okay. You have any input on this? Good, that's a good direction, Stacy. Slow is the way to go. Slow is what you're reinforcing what you're doing. And you're really examining the motion. You know, I keep telling everybody, and you know, the funny thing about this is last night I had a conversation with my friend Alan Herman, and we talked about teaching and we talked about playing, and him and I are on the same page. And if every drum teacher was on the same page, we have a hell of a great drummers out there. Like I continually say, I can show you how to execute, which I'm doing now, what is occurring with the stick when you execute. There is a right way and there is a wrong way. The right way is you don't fight with the laws of physics. If you do, you're going to lose. That's the wrong way. As far as playing, nobody could teach you to play except the music. The way you hear something and the way I hear something and the way Paul, Stacy, Robert, and Hoist hear something is totally different. But yes, you have to maintain certain parameters for certain kind of things. That's another day. Execution is what I teach. I break it down and show you what occurs. I do break down jazz tunes. Uh, we talk about different things like funk, coordination, polyrhythm, so on and so forth. But well, here's a good example. Paul. Now, Paul sent me a video of master studies, the second page. He did a really nice job. He did. And he still has a little problem with his sticking heights. Okay, now when I play or when anybody else plays, they don't worry about sticking heights because it's there, right? Now, I made a statement to Paul. It's close, but no cigar. The thing is, the faster you go, once you got it down, you're going to up the tempo a little bit, and you don't have time for all that extra movement, and it'll teach you. How old are you, Jard? I had a guy 75 years old in one of my groups on Facebook. Is 75 too old to learn? Oh boy. I said, yeah, it's too old. Where you going with it? You're never too old. May I ask how old you may be? And yep, that's good advice, Robert. Slow. No tension. Gives you an opportunity to listen to the sound you're obtaining, and you want to be consistent. Absolutely, Paul. Now, you've been working hard on that. Now, we're going to go back to Morello come next week on the drum pad and a few other things. All right? Now, I'm going to put together, after the lesson, tonight sometime, or maybe tomorrow morning, some things from Mike Clark's funk. Well, 36 is young, and you didn't get stuck with the trombone. The thing is now, take the trombone as an asset. You understand music, and you want to switch instruments, and that's the drums. And Stacy, I have a lot of admiration for Stacy. Stacy plays the bass. She plays the bagpipes. And you what? You play what else? What else do you play, Stacy? And reading is most definitely essential. Well, that's a good way. That's a good attitude. Take it as an asset. Anything that you do, anything that you learn is an asset, whether you use it or you don't. Okay, guys. Thank you for everybody's time to help out Jard. You're absolutely correct, Robert. Accordion and guitar, bass guitar, drums, and bagpipes. I hope you're not playing them all at one time. Just kidding, just kidding. Okay. Well, you are, George. You're definitely, you have a passion. Now you want to let that passion grow. Now remember, George, please download Skype, and I'll talk to you on Skype, face to face. Okay? You're welcome, Robert. So, guys, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Okay? At 1 p.m. I might be a little early. Just check and see. You're welcome, Stacy. And all the people that are watching, they're not in the chat, thank you for watching. I can't understand that. You too, Hoist. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. So we'll see everybody tomorrow in between 12:30 and 1. Have a good rest of the night. Practice. You're welcome, Jard. Okay, everybody.